Jesu Adeoye, TVC News, Abuja.
For more on the move by government to ensure food security in the country, Senior Special Assistant on Agriculture to the Governor of Ogun State, Dr. Angel Adelaja-Kuye, joins me now on the news. Thank you for joining us on TVC News at 1.
Thank you for having me.
All right, as the issue of food security, stares us all in the face, we're hearing about the president approving a rollout of support programs to boost agricultural productivity. We're also hearing about the military providing security for our farmers as they go about their businesses. What's your reaction to this about effectiveness in ensuring food security in Nigeria?
So, this is we're happy to have this conversation now. We're happy that this intervention is coming. Agriculture is a sector that is a priority and focal sector for every nation, and food security is something that is very pivotal to the success and overall security of every nation. So having the conversation and ensuring that there's timely intervention in the agricultural sector is important. I believe that we should have been having this conversation at the beginning of dry season. There were interventions done for wheat and maize and rice during the dry season. We want to see the outcomes of those interventions so we can have lessons learned from those and see how we can scale those up. But also bringing every single state and local government on board to maximize the efforts when it comes to engagement in agriculture. Of course, you know that the lands belong to the states, and the lands are owned locally. So federal government put as many interventions as they want in place, but state governors have to adopt it, they have to implement it. And of course, now that funding is going to be available for such activities, it will be good to see governors make commitments to clear certain hectares of land, make certain locations of land available to indigents, to the people in their communities, of course, for production, and also to focus on making sure that there's mechanization services that are available for these activities because they can't do it alone. And smallholder farmers, they have a lot of challenges. So being able to have a hub and spoke approach, I believe that the African Development Bank had it right when they set up the special agro-processing zones, which were supposed to be hubs, and having farm communities as the spokes that would feed into those processing zones. In Ogun State, we have the special agro-cargo airport next to our SAPZ, and now will be the time to start building up the farm clusters. We have a variety of farm clusters across the state by commodity, by location. And so this will be the time to make sure that there's infrastructure support for those for effective evacuation, effective production. We have a lot of rural communities. So things like rural electrification, things like rural roads, and of course, amenities in rural communities to make sure people don't leave those rural communities because they have lack of access to education and other things is important. But I think ultimately...
Very important. Dr. Kuye, you can go on and on. You can go on and on with this, but, let me just interject. Let me interject. Only recently, the Southwest governors met and they made a commitment to boosting agriculture in the, sub-region. They made a commitment to uniting, on this cause. And you hold quite a critical role also of assisting the governor of Ogun State, on the issue of agriculture. So I would like you to tell us what specific steps, what specific implementation strategies you're looking to bring on board to ensure that these words are not only spoken, but we actually see action.
So I'm even happy that my governor is now the head of the Southwest Governors Forum. I congratulate him on that. But it's also important that we have these kind of interactions because Ogun State has known that this is going to be an issue long before now. And we have done a lot to prioritize agriculture. We've made sure that we did land clearing for our farmers. We've made sure that we also partnered with World Bank for the Ogun State Economic Transformation Program. So we have grants that go to farmers to provide matching grants for their primary production. We've also made sure that we put farmers in clusters and clustered them on state land and even on their community lands. We've gone to the KBACs to make sure that land is available through the KBACs, and we're so grateful to some of the KBACs, like the KBAC of Imeko and others, who made land available that government cleared to make it available for the farmers. I think what you'll see now is, for us, increasing availability of mechanization, increasing, we of course also do input supply for the farmers, and we've subsidized inputs heavily. We've done a recent fertilizer distribution. We've done recent input distribution of seeds and other items. We've continuously done training for our farmers to prepare them. And of course, we set up a tomato and pepper empowerment program in partnership with GIZ to make sure that even though there was times where there's always blockade when it comes to bringing down tomato, pepper, and other things from the north, we want our farmers to start producing those things and filling the gap where there may be, to make sure that even in the off season, when tomato is not coming from the north, there's no significant fluctuation in prices. And so farmers in Ogun State have been keying into these programs. We've done significant partnerships with private banks like FCMB and Sterling Bank. We also make sure that in what we're doing, we are scaling it at the local government level. So our commissioner has made sure that every local government agric director has gone to look for land in those communities and gone to put together and design projects.
Yes,
so
Dr. Kuye,
very critical points. And be on the field. Yes.
I hear you, Dr. Kuye, very critical points you've made. And, you know, in the long run, you mentioned it earlier, we would then need to see the results, you know, the outcome of all of these investments. Absolutely. Because what is important is that there is food on the table, the fact that it's accessible and it's affordable, and that the farmers can actually go to their farms without any fear, and they're able to take those produce down to the marketplaces where consumers can actually buy from them.
And how do you measure that? You measure that by looking at the price of food in Ogun State compared to other states around us.
All right, then. All right.
Or accessibility of certain products as well.
We may need to dedicate another time to having this conversation, because you seem to have a lot to pour out. But I must sincerely appreciate you for talking to us. Dr. Angel Adelaja-Kuye is Senior Special Assistant on Agri to the Governor of Ogun State. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.